Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and I'm back with another review to Black Lightning. This is for episode 12, which is almost the finale. Not quite, but very close. And it was called the Book of Resurrection, was it? Something about the Resurrection, the Book of Pain. I'm sorry, these titles are so long. But this was great. This was the return to Tobias, and Tobias did that, and yeah, the show did that. I have a lot of thoughts about some of the stuff that has gone down, particularly with Tobias, and let's just get into it. There's just so much that happened in this episode as far as certain dynamics, and the best way to do it is just to get on into this episode and talk about those points, because we covered a lot. First, we got some background finally on this serum. The original vaccination that Jefferson would have gotten, and then, of course, what Greenlight is now. We kind of already got some pieces of the story from Gamby, but clearly Gamby didn't know all the other blanks about the Greenlight side of things, and we got the information from Proctor that the first batch of people who took the vaccination and developed powers, that they lost, it sounds like all of them. It does not sound like anyone but Jefferson potentially survived it, and that's the main reason that Proctor wants Black Lightning. Now, I feel like in the past we heard Proctor keep saying that he was going to kill Black Lightning, but now he's saying he needs Black Lightning alive. And I guess the reason why it changed from, you know, having him dead and then going to him being captured is because we've seen in this new batch of captures that they've lost, what did they say in the beginning? Like 7 of them, I think Anissa said, because there was 30 pods and then there was only 20 something. So anyway, apparently whatever happened in the past is continuing to happen. Even the ones that don't die right away from Greenlight, the ones that develop powers, apparently they're not making it. And apparently, I guess at first I thought that was just because they were being moved, but it sounds like even before that they were still losing subjects and they didn't know why. So Black Lightning, aka Jefferson, is the one subject who had the original serum, at the very least, that has survived it to this point, and he doesn't seem to be having any negative effects from developing his ability. So his DNA is the key, basically, to figuring out how to make sure that they're super soldiers, which is what I thought they might be trying to create by keeping them. Remember I said a few weeks back when we first saw the pods, I was like, I think they're going to use them as weapons, and I was right. They're trying to develop some sort of soldier or army, or I don't know. Honestly, the options are endless with a bunch of super-powered people, but the problem is that they can't make a viable product if none of them are actually able to stay alive. So, yeah, now they want Jefferson so they can study him, basically. Interesting that they're just like, kill Thunder. I mean, in a way, it's bad that they want to kill her, but good in the sense that they haven't figured out that she is related to Black Lightning in any way. Because I feel like if he ever makes that connection, if Proctor ever figures out that Thunder is related to Black Lightning, he's gonna want her too, because she's gonna be like, she's the next generation, right? It's the stuff that they did, whatever was in that original serum, it's literally baked into her DNA. So they would want her, they'd want Jen, and they would be lab rats for the rest of their natural lives, most likely, while they tried to figure out the key to making more metas, which is basically what they're trying to do. So if only they talked to Barry Allen and, you know, and saw this little thing called a particle accelerator, they could skip all this mess. So that was very interesting to hear that and kind of know the history behind it and know now about what they're trying to do with Black Lightning. Now, the only good thing about this is that they're not trying to kill Black Lightning, although now that they think he's dead, which is great because Tobias now verified for himself that Black Lightning is dead. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the finale yet. I mean, the finale, Tobias could end up finding out the truth anyway, but if Jefferson can control himself to lay low enough for, like, you know, till the end of this season, he'll have the distinct advantage of being able to do things without Tobias even, like, out on the lookout, pardon me, for him. Khalil got Rastified, y'all. I don't know what else to tell you. Rasta Khalil's in the house and he's a bit of an asshole. There's really nothing else to say. Yeah, so he's walking again. I thought maybe they would have given him something to make his spinal cord regenerate, which apparently he did get regeneration serums, but it wasn't enough. They gave him an actual exoskeletal spine, which is kind of cool. It looks awful. Looks god-awful. Let's face it, his career as a back model, demolished. Never happening. But it is kind of cool. It definitely is a lot more durable, and it will ensure that he will basically, well, Actually, let me take that back. I was going to say that he wouldn't be able to go through what he did before, but we heard Gamby say that if Jefferson had shocked him, it would have shorted out whatever he had, or the mechanism, sorry, in his exoskeleton, and it would have rendered him paralyzed again. So, yeah, I mean, I've actually thought that was kind of a sweet moment that Jefferson, despite the fact that Khalil killed him, I mean, that happened after, but still, like, despite everything Khalil did, I thought it was really sweet that Jefferson was like, I can't take walking away from him again. I hope Khalil remembers that. I mean, okay, let's just talk about Khalil for a second. I was yelling at him this whole episode, but I've kind of been salty with him ever since his episode with Jen. But like I said in that episode, he's going through some stuff, and it's a very, I can't imagine what it'd be like to be one day running, frolicking, and doing the things that I can do, and then suddenly just having that taken away from me in an instant, and not because I was doing nothing that I shouldn't be doing. Just randomly, peacefully going about my business and losing, you know, my ability to walk. That would be devastating. I can only imagine. So like I said, I kind of gave Khalil a pass in that episode when he was really salty with Jen. He was mean, he was a jerk, but like I said, I could look past it because he was in a place. He was going through some stuff and things. But, you know, it's one of those things where in this episode I'm like, okay, you made the active decision to, you know, to hook up with this man who you have to know looking at Tobias and he ain't good news. But in fairness, again, I don't think Khalil, honestly, he didn't look at the fine print. And he's, what, 17? He's going to make stupid decisions. And sadly, I loved it. I wrote this line down, legs for loyalty. Damn. You know, Khalil just probably thought that it was going to be nothing more than like a little errand here and there, or just having to be like this man's protege for a few years. But now figuring out he's got to be killing people and he's got to be attacking people, he's not really loving all of this. He's got a lot of anger. He does have a lot of resentment still in him for what happened to him, but I think at his core, Khalil was a good kid before this all happened. But now he's gotten himself into a situation that he really doesn't know how to get his way out of. And the look on his face when he thought he'd killed Black Lightning, he didn't look like he felt triumphant or good about it. It definitely looked like he was like, holy crap, what have I done? It'll be interesting because I do still think that Khalil is going to face off against Jennifer. Potentially in the finale, if not this season, potentially next season. But now that Jen's, you know, obviously, I think this episode kind of solidified that her powers are not the curse that she's been treating them to be. But I think now that she sees that Khalil is enhanced and he's not, you know, just the guy that she's always known anymore, and I think if she sees or finds out that he's the one who attacked her father and nearly killed him, there's gonna be some clashes. Shout out to the Black Lightning Lynn electric sex. Oh my god, that was so funny. Black Lynn, you called this man home from work. From work to get that tap, girl. I'm not hating on you, girl. I'm not hating on you. The man is fine. He is your baby daddy. Y'all have a history. And you know, a woman, she's human. She's got needs, people. Yeah, it was funny, but very interesting about the energy transfer there. Telling you, Jefferson gives a heck of a lot. You know, talk about a real exchange. Jefferson gives a lot more than the average guy, that's for sure. She probably has not been, that's probably why she hasn't been with nobody since Jefferson. I mean, who can compete? Who can compete with literally getting electrical charges, right? Anyway, I mean, I feel like it's a natural progression. They pretty much have never stopped being a couple from the sound of things. You know, even before he put the suit back on and they had to spend more time with each other, I mean, they were still having weekly dinners. They were still very much acting as a family. So, I mean, I think the separation was more, I view it really as Lynn kind of trying to show Jefferson that she was serious about him giving up being Black Lightning. And she had every right to feel the way she felt and deal with it the way she did. But that's what I think it was about, not because there was a lack of love or a lack of desire to be together. And so now that they spent all this time together, and like she said, she's like, if I've been through all this and you're back in the suit and now our kids are both metas, why am I even mad anymore? Like, I have no legs left to stand on as far as this, you know, why we were separated in the first place. So why should we just keep this last barrier? We pretty much are still married, with the exception of the paperwork. So I thought that was great. I mean, her whole thing about, oh, let's not tell the kids yet. I'm like, girl, if you really think your kids aren't going to be able to tell that you two have hit a new level of intimacy again. Moving on. And that actually sort of kind of brings me into the other little thing with Jeff and Jennifer. I really need Jefferson and Anissa and even her mom, actually Lynn too, to stop babying Jen about all the stuff that's going on. I get that she's a teenager, but she's not a child. And this does affect her because she's a meta now. And she's also Jefferson's child. And if they ever again make the connection that Jefferson is Black Lightning, that means all of them are in danger. And again, they might figure out that his children could potentially have powers. So it's just one of those things where I was really frustrated when Jefferson was talking to her about Khalil and not seeing Khalil. Kids aren't stupid, and especially ones that are as old as Jen is and as smart as Jen is. You can't just give her a don't see him because answer. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like in that moment Jefferson should have just leveled with her and been like, listen, we're dealing with some powerful people, the kind of people that Uncle Gambi used to deal with, and they're bad news and they can kill people, and I really believe that Khalil is involved with them, and until we can figure out if that's the case, you should keep your distance and let her take the full picture and make the right decision. Of course she was going to sneak off and see Khalil with that stuff that her dad gave her. It was just completely insulting, quite frankly. And so anyways, I'm hoping going forward, now that Jeff's gone through all of this, that they finally just level with her and just let her in and let her understand what's going on, because she needs to know. Her ignorance will actually get her killed in this case. And then I guess finally, the last kind of crazy things in this episode, Lala. I guess it was Tobias knew that Lala was not going to stay dead. I wasn't sure if it was him or Lady Eve who did it, but apparently I think Tobias used whatever was used with him all those years ago to save him from death. He used the same thing with Lala, or did the same thing with Lala. But what's worse is that I guess all that time that we believed Lala was dead, it looks like he must have been doing some sort of brainwashing, is the only thing I can think of. Because it's like, was it the devil holds the, what do you say, the devil does something? And it just sunk in place, right? He might as well just start stirring that teacup. Lala was hypnotized for all intents, and you could see it. Like, kudos to the actor, FYI, I don't know his name, I'm sorry, but he killed that scene with seeing that he was literally terrified and upset and like just so disturbed but compelled against his will. Like, he just played that so beautifully. Like, I felt sorry for Lala. I don't even like Lala, but I felt bad for him in that moment. That's crazy. It's so crazy. And that Tobias has just got him by this leash now, potentially for the rest of his life, because we don't even know if Lala can die. But it looks like maybe Tobias must have given him some kind of serum. Maybe it wasn't green light, but some variation. Or maybe Tobias sent him to the ASA via Lady Eve to get tested on, and he doesn't even know. Like, I just have so many questions where Lala's concerned, but that stuff's, I don't know what the DC is on about right now with all this mind control stuff, between the stuff going on with the DeVoes on The Flash and now this. I'm really scared about the writers on these shows, man. Tobias is no slouch. He sees that top spot and he's gunning for it. He wants to take out Proctor himself, and I mean, I'm personally not against it, because taking out Proctor means that Black Lightning will be okay, but obviously, him being in charge of everything, I think that actually might be worse than Proctor. Because Proctor, actually, I don't know. They're both pretty evil. And I don't think that, no, Tobias doesn't care about black kids any more than Proctor does. Actually, I don't know. There's no lesser evil in that situation whatsoever. And both want Black Lightning dead. They're essentially the same person. But at least for now we know the game plan. I did not see the preview for next week, but I feel like it's going to be, yeah, I think it's just going to definitely end with one of those people dying. Lady Eve's out of the way, and now we're going to, I think we're going to lose Proctor. The VP, I feel like, is going to defect, because I don't see her and Tobias working well at all together. I think she might actually turn and try to help Black Lightning, or at least get on the other side of things. But the only thing is, at this point, I don't care. She's still firmly she's firmly canceled still for me. I think she needs to suffer just a bit before I could even forgive her if she did turn. The one other thing that I almost forgot was that we discovered that I can't remember her name now, the one who shoots Tobias's bad haircut sidekick, she's not human either. She's one of the experiments. I'm assuming she's an ASA experiment as well. We saw that she got cut in her fight with Anissa, and did not look like bones under there. It looked like there might have been maybe metal or some kind of plastic. I couldn't really see, but what they obviously showed us to let us know she's not 100% human. So very interesting. And her face, oh God, just the pricelessness of her face when she realized that bullets and none of her weapons were doing a thing to Anissa. That was great. Sadly though, she did figure out that Anissa's powers are very much relative to her, that they're related to her breath. So Anissa's gotta be careful because, yeah, you know, as her father tried to point out to her many times, it doesn't take long sometimes for people to figure out what your weakness is, and that means you gotta always be on guard. But anyways, what did you guys think of this episode? I thought it was solid, well done, A+ as usual. How are you feeling about this whole thing with Lala? What's actually going on with him? Does anyone else feel a little sorry for him? Do you feel like that's exactly what he deserves? And as well, how do you think it's all gonna face off in the next episode? Do you think that Jen is actually gonna jump into this whole fray and start fighting alongside her dad? And do you think it's gonna end up being a Jen versus Khalil thing? Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you're thinking. I love reading those comments and getting involved in the conversation with you. And if you like this video, guys, please go ahead and click like, and if you want to see more from this geeky face, please click subscribe. Until next time, see ya!